From the beginning of time, prophets have known that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and his mortal mission and his atonement for all mankind. Sacred records give the prophecies of thousands of years, not only of the first coming of our Savior, but also the second coming, a glorious day that will most assuredly come. If we had lived in the days of those prophets of old, would we have believed on their words? Would we have had faith in the coming of our Savior? In ancient America, Samuel the Lamanite prophesied that on the night of the Savior's birth there'd be great lights in heaven, insomuch that it shall appear unto man as if it were day. Many believed Samuel and went to Nephi, found him, confessed their sins, repented, and were baptized. And angels did appear unto them and did declare unto them glad tidings of great joy. But for the most part, the Nephites hardened their hearts and became blind to the signs and wonders of the times. These signs were given so that people might know that the Christ must shortly come. But instead of heeding them, the Nephites depended on their own wisdom, saying, "Some things the believers may have guessed right, but it is not reasonable that such as a being as the Christ shall come." In those days, as it is in ours, some naysayers, called Antichrist, convinced others there was no need for a Savior and his atonement. When Samuel's prophecy was finally fulfilled, and there was a day and a night and a day, as if it were one day, what joy must have filled the hearts of those who had believed in the prophets. It had come to pass, yea, all things, every whit, according to the words of the prophets. And it came to pass also that a new star did appear according to the word. Those who believed on the words of the prophets recognized the Savior throughout his life and ministry and were blessed to follow him. But sometimes the faith of even the most devoted followers were tested. After the crucifixion, Thomas heard his brethren testify that the Savior had risen from the tomb. But instead of believing their words, Thomas declared, "Except I see, I will not believe." Later, this beloved apostle was given the opportunity to touch the prints and the nails of the prophet's hands and confessed, "My Lord, my God." The Savior then lovingly taught Thomas, as he has taught all of us, what it means to have faith. "Because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed." Believers on the American continent face similar tests of faith. As Samuel had prophesied, there were great thunderings and lightnings, and darkness covered the whole earth for the space of 3 days. But those who had received the prophets and had stoned them not did not fear or flee. They recognized the sign that had been given concerning the Savior's death and gathered to the temple, marveling together. And there he appeared to them, saying, "Behold, I am Jesus Christ, whom the prophets have testified shall come into the world. I have drunk out of that bitter cup which the Father hath given me, and have glorified the Father in taking upon me the sins of the world. And it came to pass that when Jesus had spoken these words, the whole multitude fell to the earth. For they remembered it had been prophesied among them that Christ should show himself to them after his ascension into the heavens." Brothers and sisters, the prophecies of Christ's first coming were fulfilled, every whit. As a result, many throughout the world believe that the Savior did come and did live in the meridian of time. But there are still many prophecies yet to be fulfilled. In this and other conferences, we hear living prophets prophesy and testify of Christ's second coming. They also witness of the signs and wonders all about us, telling us that Christ will surely come again. Are we choosing to believe their words, Or despite their witnesses and warnings, are we waiting for evidence? Are we walking in darkness at noonday, refusing to see by the light of modern prophecy and denying that the light of the world will return to rule and reign among us?